Lara 213 vs Australia Second Test 1999. Brian Lara's 213 against Australia in the second test of the 1999 series appears as simply another in the long list of exceptional performances by a batsman as brilliant as any the game has known. For a host of reasons, it was much, much more. In its context, with due deliberations and apologies to George Headley, Sir Gary Sobers and a host of other greats, I cannot identify a single innings by any West Indian batsman in our 71 years of Test cricket of such significance, I was moved to confidently assert at the time. Nothing since has changed my judgment that no captain had ever been under such pressure, never had West Indies cricket been in such a state of crisis. Lara had been placed on probation for the first 2 tests by the WICB, which warned that he needed to make significant improvement in his leadership skills. The trouble could be traced back to 4 months earlier, when Lara and his team had remained ensconced in a London hotel, refusing to leave for their momentous first Test series in apartheid-free South Africa until they sorted out their grievances over pay and terms with the WICB. On their insistence, board president Pat Rousseau flew in from Jamaica to hear their complaints. After stripping Lara of the captaincy and planning to pick an alternative team, Rousseau backed down so that the tour proceeded, if a week late. At the toss in the second test, Lara told Steve Waugh, "This could be the last time I'll be doing this." By the close of the first day, another trouncing appeared inevitable. West Indies were thrashed in all 5 tests and 6 of the 7 ODIs. Lara, already established as the most exhilarating batsman of his time, averaged 31 in the tests and 11 in the 4 ODIs he played. A month later, in the first test against Australia at the Queen's Park Oval, his home ground, his fate seemed sealed when he was dismissed for 3. West Indies were swept aside for 51 in the second innings and thrashed by 312 runs at the toss in the second test. Lara told Steve Waugh, "This could be the last time I'll be doing this." By the close of the first day, another trouncing appeared inevitable. After restricting Australia to 256 in their first innings, West Indies limped to 37 for 4. Lara survived. He was on 7 as he carried night watchman Pedro Collins with him into the next day. What followed was sheer wizardry. Overnight, Lara was seemingly touched by some magic wand that transformed the timidity one had seen in South Africa into the assertive self-belief that had been his hallmark. Against bowling spearheaded by his longtime adversaries Glenn McGrath and Shane Warne, he was in command throughout the next day, moving past his first 100 for 27 innings and carrying on to his third double. Lara reeled off strokes of every variety in all directions. There were 3 sixes and 29 fours. At each of his landmarks, an invasion of the ground by dozens of jubilant spectators sent him scampering for escape at 200, all the way into the dressing room. The Australians didn't claim a wicket in the 90 overs. Collins kept going for an hour until a blow to his midsection from McGrath caused him to retire. Jimmy Adams replaced Collins and remained Lara's virtually anonymous partner to the close. Lara ended the day on 212. Adams, his fellow left-hander, on a vital, if hardly noticed, 88. Inspired by their captain's mastery, West Indies would not be denied. They scuttled the shocked Australians for 177 the second time round. 3 runs fewer would have ended in an innings defeat. Mike Coward wrote in his Wisden report, "Lara seduced the people of a bankrupt nation, resurrected his career as a batsman of rare gifts and reignited cricket throughout the Caribbean. It was," he added, "by universal consent one of the great Test innings that in only one respect was his judgment premature." 2 weeks later, at the Kensington Oval in Barbados, Lara's unbeaten 153 clinched victory by 1 wicket and sent West Indies ahead in the series. It was by universal consent even greater. But it was the 213 that sparked the counterattack.
2 wickets down and just 5 runs on the board. And Raghunath made a duck. 11 overs remaining after this. Lara on strike for his first ball. Right on line, and he clips it away brilliantly towards fine leg. And 4 runs to Brian Lara. And Lara gets around the corner. One of his favourite shots, and McGrath just a little bit of stumble there. Went to the fence. That rope is very close to the fence. and Glenn McGrath couldn't get his timing right with his footwork, and in the end it went to the boundary. So 4 runs to start the morning for Brian Lara.
Very fine glance that from Brian Lara. Not quite Pele.
Lara's put it away, and it'll go all the way for 4. Just pirouetting on that back foot. So a boundary for Brian Lara, just his 3rd scoring shot for the day.
Good morning here. Probably night time a lot of other places around the world.
Lovely shot, beautifully played by Lara, up on his toes, and the outfield is very quick, and it should get to the boundary, and does. So beautiful shot in front of the wicket off the opening bowler. Just acknowledges to Brian Lara that he's sorry, and all in readiness for McGill's first ball of this test match. And that's the problem. No man out there, and that is the boundary to Brian Lara first up. So mid-wicket is going to be a problem for Stuart McGill. Should he bowl short or full? And sometimes with the leg spinner, you may be better off having the man out there for the first couple of overs just while he loosens up.
Well, I don't know why he apologised the ball before. This one he didn't get it out right at all. Brian Lara just whacks that through the vacant mid-wicket area. Mind you, it wouldn't matter how many fields when you had for that ball.
Lovely shot through the covers. That is beautiful placement. The off drive of the morning. And that is how to play a cover drive against the leg spinner. Foot to the pitch of the ball and the free flow of the bat.
Well put away. Goes all the way. A low full toss. And Adams strokes it through the extra cover area. So he goes into double figures now.
It's a long way, just going pretty straight, not as much spin.
Coming back for a second, even on McGrath's throw, and 2 runs to Lara, bringing up his 2nd half century in 3 innings in the series. And what a reception he's getting around this ground. There were fears that he would receive a rather hostile reception after what happened in South Africa. It's not been the case at all. Those fears have not materialized. He got a good reception yesterday, and now a very warm reception from this crowd on his half century. Short and pulled away. It'll go all the way for 4.
Well, there's a good answer to the doubters.
He's hoisted up, down towards Lavon, into the mound stand. A superb shot from Lara for 6. Now there's the first time we've seen him use his feet. He's got the maximum of the last ball of the over, and the West Indies are 126 for 4.
That's a lovely shot for 4 runs.
Lara and Warren.
No ball, smacked it down to the long-on boundary for 4 runs.
Last over. Banged away through the offside, will go for 4, short, and Lara climbing onto it. And that boundary carries Lara to over 5,000 runs in Test cricket. He becomes the 8th West Indian to reach that figure. Through. Beautifully struck by Lara, but right through the field it was travelling. Another boundary for Lara, carries him to 84.
So his front foot was well down the pitch. That's where it struck him, playing forward. But hit him in line, and you've got to ask yourself, was that going on to hit the stumps? And my word, you'd have to say it was.
Pulled away, and that'll go for 4 more. 1 bounce into the boundary. Too short to bother Lara in this mood. He's moved on to 88.
That often happens when a bowler feels convinced he's missed out on a wicket, and he's not concentrating as he should be on the next delivery as he's coming into bowl. His mind's on the last one.
That'll go for another 4. Brian Lara in full flow moves into the 90s. He's up to 92 with 3 boundaries in the over, and the West Indies have moved on to 179 for 4.
There's the mid-wicket gap. He's gone for it. Chance of the stumps, and he's hit the stumps. The umpire will have to call for the third umpire. So Steve Buckner has called for the third umpire. The crowd has been invaded, but we don't know whether Brian Lara has got his century or not. And there is pandemonium on the ground here at Sabina Park. The fans have run onto the ground, but they may be celebrating a 99. What a risky single. So this is understandable, but uncalled for.
Well, it's a bit of stupidity, David, isn't it? I mean, they're really knocking him around there. You can see the concern on the players' faces there. It's not over that. They're just wondering whether he's out or not. They're celebrating, hopefully, 100, but we saw him take a silly single, just one over beforehand and almost got run out. This time, the throw was direct. Courtney Walsh is coming out there to get the players away.
Brian Lara doesn't look too well either. He did look like he got hit from pillar to post. And this is the run on 99, picked up by Justin Langer. Throws in one action. Brilliant piece of fielding. And he may have just made it.
Well, if you can't see it, David, obviously that's the only shot.
So there's 100 to Brian Lara. His 11th Test 100. His first since June in 1997. There's been a drought. There's been 7 Test matches since a West Indian has made a century. He was under enormous pressure in this match. He was given a 2-match probationary period as captain. He served one last test. He got humiliated, and he has come out and played an absolutely sensational Test match innings. The applause of the Australian players as well. He acknowledges the huge crowd here at Sabina Park. And what a relief for the champion from Trinidad. Spoiled only by the idiots that ran onto the pitch.
So Adams with 60, but it's Lara in strike now with the 3 off the previous last ball of the previous over. Now a magnificent hit, very similar to the one he had earlier off Shane Warne, and this goes all the way for 6 as well. And there he goes again. That's another one. Brian Lara in full flow. His third 6, his second in succession. He's now moved on to 143. Beautiful use of the feet, full flow of the bat, and the certainty of another 6.
150 not out. Well played by the West Indian captain. And the little milestones continue to come for him. And those teammates are going to get sick and tired of standing up and down and clapping.
Well, I don't know about that, David. Certainly the crowd's not getting sick of it.
Great stance for Brian Lara. He's very relaxed at the crease. Very settled over the bat. And is able to put it through for 4. Great shot by Brian Lara. He sat, he waited. He's taken the verbal abuse that Glenn McGrath has handed out, and he is dishing out some of his own by way of his bat. Well played by Lara. That is brilliant. That's probably the most stunning piece of batting that we've seen today. He leant onto the ball. Glenn McGrath can only shake his head and wonder.
It has been a long haul for these two, but at this stage they really need to concentrate to make sure that they go through the entire day.
And you can't bowl 23 miles an hour and short to a bloke on 183.
Definitely not the pace to be bowling like that. That for bringing up the 300 runs since Pedro Collins. That was a good shot again. Much too slow to be bowling short.
And over the top, and that'll go to the boundary as well. Consecutive boundaries. And that is the 26th boundary for Brian Lara. 26-4. 3 sixes.
So it's been 307 runs since the last wicket fell. Of course, Pedro Collins had a bit to play in this. It's not a partnership of 307 between Lara and Jimmy Adams, but 307 runs since the last wicket.
And Lara decides to go over the top. So this could be the 3rd boundary in a row. That is the 3rd boundary in a row.
Making it look very easy at this stage now, Brian Lara. A pull through mid-wicket. A lofted shot over the slip cordon for another boundary. And then the drive. Another lofted shot, but this time in front of square. 195 to Brian Lara. They are dispatched all over the ground.
And that is a lovely shot. Lara goes to 199. 4 fours in a row. And just to take you to task, Michael, they're not quite dispatched all over the ground. Not at long on anyway.
And I was wrong again with my prediction this morning. I said Brian Lara would get 100. Well, it might be a bit more than that.
So the end of the over, Brian Lara 1 run away from a special double 100. Adams 25 runs away from a century. 199 not out. 4 consecutive 4s in that over. 349 for 4. I don't think he'll take a short signal like he did 100 runs ago. There it is. He has whipped it past mid-on, and Matthew Elliott's got to beat a lot of people helping him field the ball. So the umpire will give him 4 runs. And this is one of the problems, because it's the safety of the players that you feel for. You've got idiots lying on the pitch. And this is a slur on the game of cricket. It's a slur on the supporters here, both Australian and local supporters. And we know that it's a great moment. But if the people are fair dinkum cricket supporters, they would allow Brian Lara to enjoy the moment in peace and afford him the applause and the space that he so thoroughly deserves on the ground. So we have to check, did the umpire signal 4? Or has Brian Lara only received 2 runs for that shot? So Brian Lara emerges now from the change rooms. He obviously went into the change rooms while all that was happening. Ian Healy is just in front of him, so we can assume that both those men went from the ground as quickly as possible. So Brian Lara, 2 runs for that shot because a spectator jumped the fence and fielded the ball and threw it back to Matthew.